So this morning we're going to be talking, when we start class, I want to talk about three concepts. They all happen to start with the letter S, so that's kind of convenient. And the Sanskrit words for these are Sangha, Sadhana, and Svadhyaya. If you're new to Sanskrit, it's easy to get those confused because they start with the same letter and they all have a number of A's in them. Sangha, 2 A's. Sadhana, 3 A's. Svadhyaya, 3 A's. They do have distinctly different meanings, so I'll talk about it with you after we have a period of sitting quietly together. So please rest your hands in your lap, and you're welcome to close your eyes if you like. And try to imagine you're bringing yourself into your plumb line, the place where you get to be the most centered. When you're coming into your plumb line, I sometimes like to imagine this as if you're lining up like some transparencies. You have an illustration of several different versions of yourself, and they are lining up until they're matching, and you are in the center. You are an integrated version of you. So imagine sort of calling back home to this plumb line, the part of you that's really dedicated to your path, healing, awakening, service. And also to sort of call back home the part of you that recognizes you've needed support, teachers, fellow students, companions. And sometimes in the fray of daily living, instead of being with the part of us that's on a path, we get into the sort of productivity part of ourselves. And sometimes rather than collaborators or companions, we can end up feeling like there's competitors in life. So I'm asking us to set those aside. We're not in the productivity, we're not in competition. So bring in the part of you that knows you're on a path and it has recommended tools and practices and teachings. And you're on a path that includes millions of others, countless other people also wanting to awaken. As well, your path includes some special others who you've known to be your practice companions. Like in these classrooms on Zoom. Let's imagine these parts of you arriving and you are able to center, lengthen your spine, please. Root down into your hips. Reach up through the crown of your skull. And begin to deepen your breathing so you're coming in to the internal plumb line. So we arrive here, and part of the path and the practice in yoga, we call it sadhana. It means the daily dedicated practice. This includes the tools of pranayama and asana, meditation, inquiry, chanting. This is called sadhana when you have your daily practice. And also on this particular kind of path, there is a Sangha, a community. Let's place the left hand and the right hand palms face up on your knees. And then as you inhale, bring the two palms together, bringing together Sadhana and Sangha. And we'll chant Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu. Let's begin. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Svadyang Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidveshavai. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Svadyang Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidveshavai. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Svadyang Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidveshavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. You may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. Please open your eyes. So I'm going to ask you to imagine that these two sadhana, your daily practice, and the Sangha, the community in which you are practicing, the community in which you get to have a reflection of yourself by seeing yourself in others. And they too have a reflection of themselves by seeing themselves in you and everyone else. So let's imagine these two, a little bit like the barber pole, the red and white stripes on the barber pole. They are tied together. And this intersection is one of the ways we get to practice Svadhyaya. And Svadyaya means to study ourselves for the purpose of awakening. In this case, then, Svadhyaya is we do see ourselves and parts of ourselves in others, both the glorious and the difficult. And we come to the yoga mat for sadhana, and we recognize that what we saw in others, we also see it in here, both the glorious and the difficult, and everything else that comes with it. Okay, so for this purpose, I'm going to switch to my other camera promptly and join you seated on the floor. If you'd like to, you can shake your legs out if that helps you to get a little bit more settled. Let me get my block out of the way here. And we're going to take a seat for a twisting practice. It's helpful if you have a yoga strap for your practice this morning. So take a seat. Let's do Sirsasana, where you sit with one foot inside and then the other foot to the best of your ability. If you don't have, like if you've had a knee replacement so your knees don't bend this much, then you can sit up on something, maybe on a chair where you have a tripod stance so that you're able to reach across to a knee like this. Okay, please clasp your hands. Point the heels of your hands down. And you can gaze down. Then with the Ujjayi breath, start reaching your arms forward and let your gaze follow your knuckles. So as your breath is going up, your attention is also rising upwards. And then exhale, come down to Anjali Mudra. And bring your gaze down. So at the end of your exhale, you arrive gazing at your fingertips. Clasp the hands and begin again. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, coming down to Anjali Mudra. Plan for your eyes to arrive at your fingertips at the end of your exhale. Okay, 3 times more, please. The practice of coordinating your breath, your arms, and your eyes is a practice of synchronizing. It is also a practice of realizing where you're not synchronistic with yourself. You might be getting information that you're a little bit dysregulated or not as integrated. And this practice is one way that you can support a further integration of your mind, your eyes, your body, your breath. Now taking your hands out over your knees, please hold the knees with a little bit of firmness. And as you inhale, go up through your torso like cow pose. Raise your heart, open your throat. And then exhale, start from your head, but curl down through your torso, moving into cat pose. In fact, let the whole spine round. And then inhale to reach forward and to pull up. Let's picture on the inhale that you're kind of giving prana to the whole body. And on the exhale, you're squeezing the front body, especially the belly, like a sponge, and squeezing out that which we would call residue or ama. So inhale, bringing in prana. And exhale, squeezing out ama. One more time. Last exhale here. Rise up to your simple seat. Now we'll do a round of Kapalabhati, and the way that we'll do it this morning is 5 rapid exhales left and then right, and then 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, and then we'll go through both nostrils. So bring your right hand up, and I'll set the pace for us. I won't be able to count for you, so it's 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, and then both nostrils. Exhale through both nostrils, long, steady, and smooth. Inhale up to suspension. Bring your right hand up. Exhale, left nostril. Inhale, left. Suspension. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. And exhale, left. And deeply relax. And try to sense the integration in your body. That is that in you which knows you've had a path with practices and tools. And you've had the good fortune of community or companions, support. And you're having that directly in this moment too. Nadi Shodhana. Shodhana means cleansing. So we're cleansing the nadis. We're going to do this one more time with the Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati means skull shining or making the mind more radiant. So again, it's 5 left, 5 right, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, and then both nostrils. So let's begin. Exhale completely through both nostrils. Inhale, lower, middle, upper. Suspension. When you're ready to, exhale left side. Inhale left. At your own timing, you exhale right. Then you'll be inhaling right. You'll finish with exhale left. And see if you can sense a further memory. It's called smriti, the memory that you've had sadhana, yoga practices. You've also had the benefit of Sangha, practicing with teachers or fellow students. I'm going to ask you you can keep the eyes closed if you prefer, cross your left hand to your right knee and walk your right hand around behind you. Please twist to your right. You don't need to open your eyes, though you're welcome to if you want. I'm going to ask you to imagine gazing over your right shoulder towards history, which is all the footsteps you've had on the path, the daily sadhana. For some of us, it's been like an annual sadhana. People say they practice yoga once a year, but try to see some measure of consistency for sadhana and sangha, that you've also had companions on the path. We may not have all the same companions we had a year ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. Maybe some of us would consider the teachers we've had in earlier life, even the friendships that we were reading Hafiz and Rumi together. Sangha is a community that supports your growth and development. Inhale again, please. As you exhale, come around to face forward, bringing that historical community with you. And then cross your right hand to your left knee. Walk your left hand around behind. As you're twisting to your left, you may choose to gaze over your shoulder. And try to imagine now the future. That is, your sadhana and your sangha continue. And you are a community member that other people are actually relying on. Students who are newer to the practice, students returning after an absence of practice, and people in your life who may see you as a role model or someone to emulate. You don't know how long the future is going to be for you, none of us does. But you can imagine a kind of responsibility, or sometimes we call that a dharma, a duty. Let's exhale and come around to face forward, please. Now we're going to reach for a yoga strap, and I'd like you to come down to the floor with 2 blocks close by. I have a couple of twists, seated twists I want to do with you a bit later that are going to involve your shoulders, but I want to make sure that your legs feel also well nourished today. So make a loop in your strap, and you don't need a blanket, but if you'd like one for your head, you're welcome to do that. We're going to do this pose called parvrrta, supta, padangustasana. You don't have to know how to pronounce it to do it. I will recommend that you put these 2 blocks on the left side of your mat, and you can kind of have them at the ready. I'm going to stack mine so that they're both on the medium setting. So that's a little taller from the floor. Please take your right foot up in your loop and put your hand under the loop to hold both sides. Start with your right hand here. Lengthen out through your left leg as you press up through your right leg. And come back into the Ujjayi breath and try to sense if the breath can continue to be this kind of integrative force. So it brings together your mind and your body. It brings together your intention and your action. And today you can also imagine the breath integrating these 2 words, your sadhana and your Sangha. You are practicing in community right now. And your presence here matters to the other students in the classroom, even though we're still on Zoom. It matters. The moments of self-awareness during practice are the on-ramps to Svadyaya, which means to study ourselves. So you become aware of something about yourself. You bring attention and curiosity to that. And you have begun the practice of Svadyaya, self-study. So for example, notice the amount of ease or difficulty you're having in this pose right now. As we change it to the parvrrta version of the pose, you're going to get to notice how your mind adapts to changes. So take the left hand under the strap, reach up to hold both sides of your strap, open your right arm. Now going up with your right leg, please cross over and aim for your foot to be supported by the 2 blocks. So this is a twist. The right hip does come up off the floor. I do want you to reach through your right heel as well as you can. Rotate your chest and heart opposite. And it's helpful if you prioritize that both your right shoulder and your right foot are supported, which might mean that some of you have your foot up higher on a couple more blocks, or you've made these blocks tall but stable, or you put your right foot up on the wall or the sofa. So as you reach from your right hip into your right thigh, right heel, equally reach from your heart to your right arm to your fingers. And yet let the breath act like that barber pole, weaving the red and white stripes around as you're twisting in both directions. And rotate your head to center. And using your right outer hip muscles, you can draw your right leg back up to center. Now, you have a strap on your foot at the moment, and I'm going to ask you to hold it with both hands. Bend your right knee and take it out to the side. And aim to bring your right foot up towards your left shoulder. Reach for one block to place on the top of your thigh. We call that the medium setting. So you're going to place your foot there. You can keep holding it with your strap, or if you can reach it with your hands, then you can hold your ankle with your hands. This is like a lying on your back version of pigeon pose. Press your right knee open and breathe down low into your belly. So noticing again what happens in the realm of self-awareness. What do you become aware of here? The tone of the breath, the pace of your mind, the kinds of phrases you talk to yourself with. Encouragement is recommended. Roll your shoulders back down towards the floor and hold your strap with just your right hand. Start raising your right leg up, and so that your toes are pointing where your knee was just pointing, and come out to your right. Without tipping over, come out to your right. So imagine the breath as that barber pole. It's going to help keep you centered. And a couple weeks ago, we were using a block at the outer right hip. You're welcome to do that again. Or if you can remember, squeeze the right outer hip muscles, and that can help to actually center and level your pelvis, because you're going to make the outer right hip joint more stable. Not because you make the whole pelvis more stable, but the outer right hip stabilizes. Then send that energy across your lower belly to root into your left hip. And then let's inhale, raise the right leg up to center. Release your foot from the strap and put both legs out on the floor. And let's notice right to left. You will not feel equal. You will not have samastitihi. It will come back, but your legs will feel different right now. So let's move the blocks over to the left side. Right side, excuse me, it's going to be for your left foot. And put your left foot up into your yoga strap. So left foot up. We're first going to hold the strap with the left hand. So reach under your strap, catch the loop. Take your right leg straight out. Open your right arm. And orient. Notice what happens now to your mind. I would say this is the most simple of the 4 poses that we're doing in this little sequence. So what is the quality of your mind when the pose is more simple? When the actual tool of your sadhana is a bit more simple? What happens to your mind? Now place your right hand up in the strap. Okay, as you hold, open your left arm out to the side. Raise your left hip up before crossing over. That's an important consideration. You actually lift your left hip off the floor. So you're not just tipping your thigh bone in the socket. And that's especially important if you've had a hip replacement. You raise the left hip up and then cross over. Now please do support your left heel to be as high as it needs to be. So that could be on the sofa, for example, or on the wall. A couple more blocks so that your left shoulder can still find the ground. And breathe in and out through the nose. Make this very steady. To the best of your ability. And notice that you get to study yourself again. What happens for you when you're in a twisting pose? What happens when your IT band might be more challenged? Or your hip joint? What happens to the mind? And since the mind is very important in yoga, how we understand the mind, we don't want to do yoga poses in such a way as we cause the mind to be unnecessarily distressed. That's called becoming rajasic, and we can't really learn from the rajasic mind. We learn when we're in our sattvic mind. So bring your head to center as you raise your left leg up to center, and then hold the strap with both hands. You might want to center your hips if they got a little bit off, but hold the strap with two hands. Bend your left knee to the outside of your left shoulder. Reach for one block to put, so you can place your heel on, I'm going to call that the medium block because it's on the second height of the blocks. Please make your left foot strong, like you're standing in mountain pose. And as you open the left knee out to the side, this is a kind of non-weight bearing version of pigeon pose. Press your left knee gently open. And notice again what happens to your mind. What is its quality? And reach into your yoga strap with your left hand. So the direction that your left knee is now pointing, you're not going to maintain the entire direction, but I'd like you to go up and out to your left. Now, before you go very far, tone the muscles at the left outer hip, right outside your thigh bone there. And imagine the energy coming across to your right belly. So there's a muscular strategy there so that you don't tip. You could put a block like we did last week. You would put it on the flat setting outside your left thigh bone. Notice what happens for your mind and your breath here. And then with an inhale, please rise up to center. Take your strap from your foot and lay your left leg out. And notice we are hoping now for some samastitihi. That means sama, evenness. Sti is steady. Tihi, stitihi, standing with steadiness. And balance, evenness and steadiness. Okay, and then please roll to your side and reach for your blanket to sit on once again. And take a seat so that you've got your yoga strap within reach also. Please snug your left foot in and take your right leg out. Make your loop a little bit larger. And put it around your right foot. Okay, please consider this carefully, and I hope you have a long enough strap. That's probably one of our difficulties here in COVID-19 is that I can't give you all a yoga strap like I used to in class. So you put this around your right foot and then bring it along the back side of your body and put your left wrist into the strap. So let me see if I can turn around so you can see it. So if I put my backside to show you, I have the strap around my foot. and then into my wrist. So it's pretty firm. And that means I have a really strong support at my wrist to help with my shoulder right here. Okay, let me turn to face you again. So the strap is around your right foot. Yes, that is my left foot. Don't write me an email later to ask if I have cognitive confusion. I do, but it's not about my lefts and rights right now. Okay, so right leg strong. Reach out through the big toe, please. Cross your right hand to your left knee and twist to your left. Roll your left shoulder back. Lift your heart like a little bit of a back bend. And I'm going to ask you to imagine again that you're gazing at a horizon that includes your future, and that you are going to have some duties to stay with your sadhana as a member of a Sangha. And sometimes you won't even know. You'll be at the marketplace just being a citizen, but your yoga will infuse your conversation or your interactions, and that flows out as a fragrance onto others. So please keep your right hip grounded, left hip grounded. The strap is to help you roll your left shoulder back and to give you a little strength for back bending. So where you place your right hand and how you're holding, you can also imagine that as a little bit of a back bend. Now keeping your right fingers firmly fixed, loosen the strap from your left hand and your right foot. Raise your left arm and come over to parvrrta, janu, sirsasana. And keep your right fingers fixed to the outside of your left thigh. Now inhale, rising up, gaze to your left again, sensing your responsibilities. This time bring your gaze down, more towards the earth. And then come back around to face forward. Loosen your strap and fold your right foot in. And just come to a moment of noticing. You will not feel equal left to right. But there will be a harmonizing impulse in you, an impulse for integration. Now we're going to take the left foot out to the side. If you need to purchase a yoga strap that's longer than the one you have, go check the DAYA Foundation website, because there is a link on there for a yoga prop company. This is a 10-foot strap. I think that's pretty much adequate for most people, 10 feet. A 6-foot strap will be too short for this, unless your leg is only 2 feet long. Probably it's not. Okay, so now walk your left hand over, right hand behind. Okay, energize the left foot. So it may have an inclination to tip out. That's kind of okay, but keep it strong from the inner thigh to the big toe. And then walk your left hand over and use the support of the strap to stabilize your right wrist, to set your right shoulder back. And as you raise your heart and your gaze, imagine again, we're looking at the past and all the support that we have received to arrive here in the present. We have enough support in our history that we now have a sadhana and a Sangha. We have a practice and a community. And we have minds that are stable enough to do some self-study, Svadyaya. So this past gazing is for appreciation, for gratitude. Even if some of our teachers or support people weren't extraordinary or they had imperfections, they were still a part of what shaped our path. Let's loosen the strap from your left foot and your right hand and reach up and over parvrrta, janu, sirsasana. Do your best to keep your left fingers fixed over your right thigh because it's going to increase the side bending and the access you have to your right lower back. It also decreases the likelihood of you just closing into your left hip joint. And this time as you inhale to rise up, then we're going to be gazing to the right for the twist to continue, but gazing more down towards the earth. The kind of humility. We were fortunate to have enough teachers, enough community, enough companions, just enough access to the teachings that we arrive here now. Exhale and rotate around to face forward. And bring your left foot in. And check and see, what is your seat like? So each of us is a combination of the past and the present, the sadhana and the Sangha. Let's come down to Shavasana, and an idea for Shavasana this morning, since we have these props available, is to take this blanket, make it long and narrow. Sit in front of, but not on, your blanket. Place your feet with a block. And you make the loop so that your legs don't get to roll apart. In Shavasana, it's going to help to set the femurs, the thigh bones in the sockets. And we curl this blanket right under the neck. When you come to rest and we have something like this blanket on the center line of the spine, and we have the feet made parallel and equal, try to imagine the left and right hemispheres of your body becoming integrated, being like Zen, or we could say like Vastu, the good feng shui of the body. And you're simply going to rest and let the wisdom of your body take care of integrating this practice for you. So relax the space between your eyebrows, the center line of your forehead. Soften the bridge of your nose. The center of the nostrils. Relax your upper lip and your lower lip. Your chin. Consider bringing ease to your throat and down to the sternoclavicular notch, the hollow at the top of the sternum. And trace that down over your sternum, releasing as you arrive at the solar plexus, also further softening there. And down to the belly button. The low pelvis, the pubic bones, there are two. And then down through the inner edge of your right leg, inner edge of the left leg. Invite your body to become really still and deeply trusting in the process of Shavasana. Continue allowing your body to have the integrative process. Your mind can be totally at ease. We'll rest about another minute or so. One more minute to be really silent. Sense the integration occurring. You can imagine that the mind is embedded in the body. The body is able to communicate with the mind. The heart and the spirit are one. Our past is nourishing our now. The present nourishes the future to come. We see aspects of ourselves in others. They see aspects of themselves in us. We are the seer, the seeing, and the seen. You may begin to wiggle your toes free from your yoga strap. When you're ready to, please roll down to your right. And rise up to sitting. And check in with your seat once again. Bring your hands together at your heart. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. Thank you for being a part of this Sangha, this community, for having your sadhana, your practice with us. I will come up to see you closer. Let me change my video so it's easier for you to see me. I think the kittens would have been all over us in this class today, so it's good they wanted to be in the other room. How are you feeling?